This is it, the preseason game that everyone is normally waiting for. This is week 3 of the preseason. What does that mean? It's dress rehearsal day. Welcome to Billievers Talk, and welcome to a game day edition of Billievers Talk, where we are going to break down the game tonight between our Buffalo Bills and the Detroit Lions. We're going to talk about that dress rehearsal game, the third preseason game, one of the most important ones to have. Before we do that, however, I'll remind everyone to hit that subscribe button. If you're interested in Buffalo Bills football, you want to hit that subscribe button, as we will keep you updated during all of 2019, whether it be doing play-by-play coverage of the games or keeping you up to date on any injury news / roster news or anything else. So you hit that subscribe button, you want to hit that notification bell. After you do that, look in the description below, as there are links for hashtag sports, sportscaster, BewareTheStampede.com, teaming up with all those this season guys to give you the best Buffalo Bills coverage in 2019. But today we want to talk about the matchup tonight against the Detroit Lions, that third preseason game, like we said, commonly known as the dress rehearsal game. Will we see Josh Allen out there for more than a quarter today? What will we see out of our starters? Who are the guys to watch for, right? Who's on that roster bubble that should have hopefully has a good showing tonight? Because as Dable has alluded to, as Coach McDermott has said, having to make tough decisions for a 53-man roster is a good thing. That means that we have a lot of talent and we have a lot of depth. And so we just want to see the best out of everybody and hopefully make the best decisions when it comes to making that 53-man roster. Again, this is probably the last time we're going to see the starters until week 1. So again, 2 weeks away. We are just 2 weeks away from the start of the NFL regular season. So I hope you're ready. So what is there to look forward to tonight? Well, I'm going to actually start with where we normally end. I'm going to start with special teams. I know how boring, right? But special teams might be where you see your biggest battle tonight. Corey Carter injured his leg earlier this week. So we talked about that punting competition, right? Something that was lasting throughout training camp, something that's lasted throughout the preseason. Well, tonight in this game, Corey Jorges will be the only punter we have. So if you remember last year, Corey Carter was set to be the starting punter for the Buffalo Bills, tears his ACL, and unfortunately is done for the season. Now, although this leg injury does not seem nearly as severe as last year's, this could really give Corey Jorges a step up, maybe a leg up, pun intended, on the competition if he has a good game tonight. Now, so far this preseason, Corey Carter has actually outplayed Corey Jorges. Corey Jorges has averaged less than 40 yards per punt, and he only has one inside the 20, so it's not like he's digging him inside the 20 every time for that to be that way. No, he's less than 40 yards average per punt. That's not going to get it done in the NFL. When you talk about punting, you talk about trying to change field position, and so Corey Jorges really has to do his best to show up tonight, since he's going to be the only guy back there taking punts. Now, if we want to stay on special teams, we do still want to keep an eye on Stephen Hauschka. We know he's missed kicks week 1 and week 2. I am not too concerned over the fact that he's been missing these kicks. However, we do want to see if he can get on the field tonight, and we want to make sure that he can still make those kicks. Make sure that these past 2 weeks have been a little bit of a fluke, because if not, we really need to address that as soon as possible. But I think Stephen Hauschka is going to be just fine. But I would like to see him get a couple kicks in tonight just to prove that he's the guy moving forward. Because again, you don't want to play these guys going into week 4. You got McLaughlin as the backup kicker. Play him week 4 of the preseason. Corey Carter and Corey Jorges, who's not going to be the starter, play them week 4. So you really want this competition to be over by week 4. So let's move to the offense, week 4 preseason. Let's move to the offense and let's talk about probably the most important battle, and that's that wide receiver battle, right? We know Brown's going to be there. We know Beasley's going to be there. We know some of the names are going to be at the wide receiver position. But who's going to be that number 6 guy, right? Who is that going to be? You have Ray McLeod. Is he going to make the team? He has shown flashes here and there. You have Duke Williams. Everyone's excited about Duke Williams. Duke Williams showing improvement throughout and you have Isaiah McKenzie, right? Isaiah McKenzie was a huge flash for us last season when we picked him up from Denver. Is he good enough to make the team this year? You know, everyone's talking about David Sills not making this team, and that's fine. I agree with you. I agree with everyone about that statement. But for the guys that aren't making the team, right? You need to play them as much as possible because you want to figure out, are they practice squad worthy, right? You know the practice squad eligible. Are they practice squad worthy? Again, you only keep 10 practice squad players, 11 in our case this season, mostly 10. You want to see who's worth those 10 practice squad picks. And then moving on to the guy that would be the 11th guy that's on the practice squad, that's Christian Wade, of course. Christian Wade's been really impressive the first 2 weeks of preseason, even though it's been against the third and fourth string guys from the other teams. Does he get more playing time? And more importantly, does he get more playing time with maybe the 1s or 2s, right? If you see him move up on the depth chart tonight, then that might be an indication that maybe we keep him on the roster spot. Now, you know, I think it's highly unlikely. I think he is going to make the practice squad as that 11th guy. But let's say he outplays TJ Yeldon again tonight, right? TJ Yeldon first week has that fumble, sits out, plays better in week 2, but you still have to wonder about him. Let's say he plays better than that special teams guy from Miami, who I always forget his name for some reason, but you guys remind me in the comment section below, who fumbled it last week. If he plays better than him, does he supplant his name as part of that 53-man roster? I like Christian Wade, but we are talking about a 27, 28-year-old NFL running back here if he makes the team. So, yes, he hasn't been an NFL running back, so you wonder what is his timeline like compared to some others. But he's still, for the NFL age, still a little bit older. Rugby isn't any easier on the body than the NFL is, so you wonder how many years those legs have as an NFL running back, and does that make you hurry up his progress, maybe get him on the team earlier than you would if he was 20, 21, and you could put him on that practice squad and know that he'd be ready to go next season. So those are some things to look at. Again, you want to look at that wide receiver position and say, who's in there? Especially in the beginning, because those will indicate who the starters are going to be. What kind of time does Zay Jones get? Zay Jones, a guy who wasn't targeted at all last week, does he get more targets this week, and does he show up? Because, again, some people are beginning to question, is Zay Jones worth being on this 53-man roster? I like Zay Jones. I think he's going to make this 53-man roster. But those questions are starting to come in. You're starting to hear those thoughts possibly for a reason. Maybe those rumors are surfacing for a reason. Maybe they're not. Maybe we're just overreacting because of preseason. You talk about Andre Roberts. Andre Roberts has made his claim as being on this 53-man roster, both on special teams and for a wide receiver. So we'll see how well he does tonight, if he plays too much tonight, but maybe look to see him return a punt or kick or two tonight, and then not see him much after that. And then, of course, like I said, you want to look out for Christian Wade as well. We'll see what kind of playing time he gets, and more importantly, when does he get that playing time. Another guy I'm interested to see how much playing time he gets exactly, Josh Allen. Last week we saw Josh Allen go 9 for 11 for over 100 yards, lead 2 scoring drives, and then boom, done after the first quarter. Does he play the whole first half tonight? Or if after 2 drives he's again 9 for 11 over 100 yards, maybe threw a touchdown, do you say, okay, we've seen what we need to see? I am very, not only encouraged, but very, very okay with what we've seen from Josh Allen this year going into the regular season. I don't need to see too much more from him. So do you risk him being out there, risk him potentially getting injured if you've seen what you want to see? And then you have to ask yourself, do you need to see Josh Allen with these other wide receivers to see exactly what this connection looks like between the two, since Josh Allen is our starter? Another thing you might not see too much of is our starting offensive line. And the reason for that is simple, because we keep getting banged up on that offensive line. We want to make sure this offensive line is as ready to go as they can be for week 1. So you probably won't see too much of Mitch Morse, if any at all. You probably won't, which I really wanted to. I've said it all year, since he got that concussion. I want to see him in that 3rd preseason game. We're not going to see him, so that's a little disappointing for me. But again, you want him to be as ready as possible for that week 1 game. So I wouldn't be surprised to not see too much of that offensive line playing tonight. Then you go over to that defensive side of the ball, and what is there to watch on that defensive side of the ball? You still need to watch out for Kevin Johnson. Kevin Johnson had that pick 6 last week, of course, and we want to see how he comes back from that this week. Does he have another impressive game? We want to see what Levi Wallace has. I feel like that cornerback 2 position still up in the air. Levi Wallace still, I think, has that edge, but we want to see how he does, how Taron Johnson does. Let them battle it out a little bit and see who does better. You want to see Daryl Johnson again. Daryl Johnson has had a great preseason so far. I think he has cemented himself in that 53-man roster, but now it's a matter of, is he first string, second string? Where does he fit in? So continue to watch him. And another guy I'm going to enjoy watching, just to enjoy watching him, is going to be Ed Oliver. The first 2 weeks of preseason, I feel like Ed Oliver has had a great preseason, taking up a lot of double teams last week. Want to see what he does tonight against this #1 Detroit Lions offense. This is the first time this preseason we're going to see the other team's starting quarterback with Matthew Stafford playing. I want to see how he does against the #1 offensive line for Detroit. I'm looking forward to this game against that 3rd preseason game. It's that dress rehearsal game. Unfortunately, I will not be able to be with you guys tonight after the game, so make sure you check out either Buffalo Fanatics or maybe #Sports. Not sure who will be doing post-game, but be sure to check them out. I will rewatch the game once I get home tonight, and then maybe I'll go live tomorrow and we can talk about the game then, but I won't be able to do it tonight, so I apologize for that. But we will be ready to go come the start of the regular season again, teaming up with #Sports to give you live Buffalo Bills play-by-play and reaction over on sportscaster.com. Again, link in the description below. Teaming up with BewareTheStampede.com. Go to Beware the Stampede for all your Buffalo Bills news. So we look forward to that partnership as well. Just a lot of fun stuff coming up in 2019. I look forward to sharing it all with you guys. So hit that subscribe button. After you hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, like this video, and leave a comment. Let me know what you think. What are you looking forward to the most going into tonight's 3rd preseason game, that dress rehearsal game? Again, you won't see any of the starters next week. So what do you want to see tonight? I look forward to recapping it all with you tomorrow. I look forward to talking to you all soon. Until I do, go Bills.